Good afternoon and welcome to our Midday News. My name is Mwema Shanshima. We take a look at the stories making headlines. Minister of Information and Media Cornelius Mwitwa has acknowledged that differing expectations were inevitable during the national mourning period for the late 60th Republican President Edgar Lungu. A governance expert has called for constitutional reforms to clearly define procedures for state funerals in Zambia, warning that current provisions are vague and prone to misinterpretation. The opposition Patriotic Front PF has stressed that the selection of a successor to the late former president Edgar Lungu will be conducted transparently and without manipulation. FIFA President Gianni Infantino has reaffirmed FIFA's dedication to the growth of Zambian football following a strategic meeting with Football Association of Zambia FAZ President Keith Mwembe.
Sun FM.
Minister of Information and Media Cornelius Mwitwa has acknowledged that differing expectations were inevitable during the national mourning period for the late 60th Republican President Edgar Lungu. However, he emphasized that government's priority was to ensure a dignified and respectful farewell. Speaking on Hot FM, Mr. Mwitwa explained that the government's primary focus was on working closely with the bereaved family in all aspects of the funeral arrangements, ensuring their wishes were honored while adhering to the protocols for a former head of state. He noted that while not all matters reached an unanimous agreement, the most important aspect was that the family played a central role in determining how President Lungu would be laid to rest. The minister also highlighted that the passing of a former president naturally draws broad public participation, as the presidency significance extends beyond the individual to encompass the political party and the Zambian citizenry as a whole.
Be done that way, but that for purposes of moving this process forward so that we get going with the processes of putting the late president to rest, those things had to be done the way they will be done. It is unexpected that certain things that were not agreed upon will now begin to be executed, because this is a funeral, and that during a funeral the family takes center stage. But when you are dealing with a former president, there is a nuclear family, there is a family with a party, there is also a huge family which is the entire citizenry.
A governance expert has called for constitutional reforms to clearly define procedures for state funerals in Zambia, warning that current provisions are vague and prone to misinterpretation. In an interview, Wesley Mianda emphasized the need for a robust legal framework, particularly regarding the handling of funerals for former heads of state, to avoid reliance on assumptions or informal practices. His comments follow recent consultations between government and the family of the late former president Edgar Lungu. The discussions led to an agreement for the former president's remains to be repatriated via private charter and to lie in state at his residence in Lusaka's Chifwema area. While commending the cooperation between both parties, Mr. Mianda stressed that the body of a former head of state could ideally be received and mourned at a public institution, underscoring the symbolic importance of national recognition and honor. He reiterated that clearer constitutional guidelines would uphold the dignity of the presidency and help avoid future inconsistencies during periods of national mourning.
the constitution of Zambia is not well defined on this issue of losing a former head of state, where the family needs to come and the state needs to come. The constitution does not clearly define as to how this, when you talk about constitution reforms, let's also look at the way these state funerals need to be handled. So that at the end of the day, at least the family should know its boundaries, and also the state should know its boundaries. I think that's the way we need to look at it going forward.
The Opposition Patriotic Front, PF, has stressed that the selection of a successor to the late former President Edgar Lungu will be conducted transparently and without manipulation. PF Secretary General Raphael Nakachinda stated that Mr. Lungu did not endorse or name a preferred candidate for the 2026 general elections before his passing. Speaking on Diamond TV, Mr. Nakachinda clarified that no discussions had taken place within PF or the Tonse Alliance regarding a potential successor. He also emphasized that Mr. Lungu consistently championed an open and democratic process, ensuring that both the party and the Zambian people would have the opportunity to determine the next presidential candidate.
Whether it was in 2021 when he went for sabbatical leave, was that the process to identify a leader should be transparent, should be open, should have the legitimacy of the Zambian people and the Patriotic Front. So if there's anybody within Patriotic Front and outside who are seeking to try and manipulate and deceive Zambians that were endorsed, they are wasting their time. If you have it, you are a leader seeking to serve the Zambian people genuinely. The Zambian people will identify you, the Patriotic Front members will identify you, and the Tonse Alliance will identify you.
As erectile dysfunction is becoming an increasing concern among men in Zambia, with medical professionals urging those affected to seek professional help rather than resorting to self-medication or herbal remedies. Dr. Ospansinio Nkwa from Lusaka's Lazinga Chikondi Clinic highlights that it remains highly underreported due to stigma, embarrassment, and misinformation, which discourage men from discussing or seeking treatment. Hospital records indicate a growing prevalence of the condition, with the University Teaching Hospital UTH documenting 1,000 cases of the AIDS between September 2021 and September 2022.
It's a silent struggle affecting thousands of Zambian men, but a few are willing to talk about it. Erectile dysfunction, a condition that impacts a man's ability to achieve or maintain an erection, is on the rise. Yet stigma and fear keep many from seeking help. Langiza Chikondi Clinic in Lusaka is sounding an alarm. In line with the Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, the clinic is stepping up efforts to encourage men to stop self-medicating or turning to traditional remedies such as Congo dust, mvubwe, mwana apeluke, and power, but instead seeking real medical care. Dr. Ospension Nkwa describes the condition as both common and underreported.
Lifestyle, high blood pressure can be one of the causes of erectile dysfunction. Excessive alcohol consumption can also be a cause, among others. So this is quite a common condition that is out there. That's important to be screened and treated.
He warns that beyond physical causes like diabetes or high blood pressure, mental stress and emotional trauma are often overlooked triggers.
A man who is unable to sustain an erection, in long term, this is a man who will get depressed because they won't be able to satisfy their partners. And so the major effect that this condition has is it's one of the causes of depression, especially in men.
According to official data, the University Teaching Hospital UTH recorded 1,000 cases of erectile dysfunction between September 2021 and 2022, while Livingstone University Teaching Hospital recorded 42 cases in just 1 month in 2023. Dr. Nkoa is urging men to break the silence, reminding them erectile dysfunction is not a life sentence, and with the right help, it's treatable. Thomas Mwale reporting for Sun FM TV News in Lusaka.
We take a short break, and when we return, we have sports news.
It's time for the biggest club football showdown this June on Top Star for just 210 kwacha on Antenna Classic OD Smart. Kick off the FIFA Club World Cup on Sunday, 15th June with European giants Bayern Munich facing Auckland City at 18 hours and Paris Saint-Germain versus Atletico Madrid at 21 hours. Conclude match day 1 on Wednesday, 18th June when Manchester City battles Wydad Casablanca at 18 hours and Real Madrid versus Saudi Arabia's Al Hilal at 21 hours. Later, catch match day 2 action as Messi leads Inter Miami against FC Porto on Thursday, 19th June at 21 hours. And African giants Sundowns versus Dortmund on Saturday, 21st June at 18 hours. Quickly, get your Top Star decoder now and catch every goal from the group stage to the final, all live on World Football. Top Star, enjoy digital life.
FIFA President Gianni Infantino has reaffirmed FIFA's dedication to the growth of Zambian football following a strategic meeting with a Football Association of Zambia President Keith Mwemba in Miami, United States. Having visited Zambia in June 2024, Infantino praised the country's deep passion for the sport and emphasized FIFA's ongoing commitment to collaborating with FAS to enhance football development at all levels. According to FAS Media, during their discussions, Infantino and Mwemba focused on the FIFA Forward program, aiming to optimize investment in infrastructure, technical development, and grassroots initiatives across Zambia. Infantino also recognized FA's proactive involvement in the Football for School programs, an important FIFA initiative that empowers children through education and life skills. Additionally,